I wanted to ask how it feels to have so much violence going on around you.
I was 16 years old at the time. I was 2 years in Theresienstadt from 14, and I was alone. And we knew certain things. They just were tushut, you know, it went from one to the other. Who knew it? I don't know. But we did not know from one day to the next what will happen to us. But the only thing that we knew is that the young people who were strong enough to work, they would use later on for working. So that was our only good luck, that I was 16 when I went to Auschwitz from Theresienstadt.
So where did you find out that, for example, in Auschwitz, there is a gas, there have been people killed with gas or something like that?
When we went into the chambers where they had the water coming down, people knew. I do not know. It must have gone by mouth that you watch out, whatever comes out, water or gas. And we stood there. The doors were closed. We could not get in or out. And we looked up and we prayed to God that we would get water. And it came. The water came. So that was number one, where we really knew what was going on.
Did you speak German with your children, and if not, why?
This is a very good question. My children do not speak a German. Why? Because I did not like Germany anymore. I did not like the language anymore. I did not want to know anything about Germany my whole life, because they killed all my relatives. I lost uncle and aunt and 3 children. I lost another uncle and aunt with 2 daughters. My whole family, the only ones that were alive was my brother Manfred, who went to Australia in 1939, and my parents, who came here because my father stayed in Theresienstadt because he was in the army, in the German army in the First World War, and he lost an eye for Germany. So they left him in Theresienstadt and did not send him to Auschwitz. And my mother worked in a factory there. It was called Glimmer. They had to do something, to work something and make something for airplanes. So that's why they stayed there and they survived there. And they were liberated by the Russians. And from there, they were sent back home to Frankfurt.
Have you ever thought you lost your family completely, so they all died?
Yes. When I went to Sweden, I had no idea if anybody was alive. The only one I was hoping was my brother Manfred, who was 6 years older than I, and he went in 1939 after Kristallnacht. You all know what Kristallnacht is, right?
Yes.
I suppose. He went he was in a Gartenbauschule in Arlem near Hanover. And he was sent to England, and from England they sent him to Australia. And at that time, Australia was very far away from Germany. But my parents said, go, at least you get out and you're safe. And that's what he did. And when he left at 17, he never saw his parents again, because his parents died here in America, and he did not come much later, and they were not alive anymore. I think you're wonderful children, you're wonderful young people, and I appreciate that you take an interest in it, and that you should know what went on, but to make sure something like this should never happen again in any country, not just Germany, in any country, that a dictator can have so much power and do such horrible things. But the world will never learn, I'm afraid. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A lot.
Thank you to you. Thank you. And have a wonderful life.